Ah, bonjour, bonjour pour demain, je suis désolée. Bonsoir, bonsoir, comment ça va? J'espère que ça va bien, bien aussi, d'accord? Je suis Cornelia Benson, one of my those that I live around the Dieu, and the spirits are already working. Literally haven't even gotten into this whole thing yet, and lights are going on and off already. You see what's happening? My hands are here. And we're just gonna go with it. Um, it's just one of these things that's gonna be going down this evening as it's gonna be quite a heavy situation. Um, so Michael's gonna come down and probably wiggle the light to try to hope that it, you know, does what it needs to do, but the reality is I don't think it's going to. So, alrighty. And, could you click it? Because it needs to be on the blue. Voilà, merci, thank you so very much. It's good. Um, it's a little off. Okay, now we're gonna move a little bit. Okay, so everybody, welcome, welcome, welcome. Again, bienvenue, welcome to my channel, okay, Emotion. Tonight's video, we are gonna be discussing the killer voodoo preacher, Willie Maxwell. I'm pretty excited about this. I've seen people tell their stories and what they have investigated, but they didn't live. And I'm gonna get into that part too, because a lot of people don't understand, and I say this all the time, it's one thing to educate yourself and to investigate and be a historian. You will never know the true story unless you lived it, and my people, my great aunt, his worker and lover, my mother, his, he was pursuing my mother, and, so this is firsthand information. This is not one of these, "Oh, well, let me give you a story." So, before we get into all of those things, I must first ask you to please subscribe to this channel, give the video a thumbs up, leave a sweet, kind comment below, hit your notification button or your post notification button, and, yes, enjoy, um, yeah. Okay, but of course, before we get deep into the stories, I do wanna just mention very briefly that we do have our September community service, honestly, in about what, 3 hours, 4 hours? We're gonna actually, when I wake up at 5 a.m., it will no longer be available. A lot of people are sleeping on this, and I do just wanna communicate this. I'm not gonna, go crazy on it and do my whole spiel on the reason this is important. If you have been here long enough, you know that we're about to get into the most heaviest Ashe feel part of the year when I am working with some heavy spirits like high jump for the community and all of these things. Your house needs to be in order, period. Your roads have to be in order, period. That'll be next month. Hijra, being that allows him to come through your home and on your roads and blessings beyond that. So, I absolutely want everyone to have the opportunity. I'm not, again, gonna go crazy about that. I mentioned it already. Okay. Um, and then we have, the Working Ritual Weekend, okay? The Working Ritual Weekend is also coming up. The last day to sign up for this is October 5th, and if you're not here, you're gonna miss out. It's unfortunate. I can't, um, really push it. I know that those that miss it will, in fact, hate that they missed it, without a doubt. And that's just one of those things. There's no other way to put it. I do wanna briefly go back to the September community service. I will be providing the, Le Parfum de la Maison, the perfume, the essence of the Queen perfume, which I have not made since the launch of Conjure South back, like, in 2016, 2017. And, it is a blessing perfume, and I will teach you how to use those perfumes as time goes along. alright? So, I will do a video on that. So, there's that. Alrighty, so, let's see who we got in the house. Let's see who we got in the house. Hello, Raleigh. Hello, Marcel. Hello, ATL Rum Shaker, Don't Breaker. Hello, Iceberg Paris. Hello, Empress J, Josie, um, Dio got it. You got it, Podemon. Um, Rose JP, hello, bonsoir. Bonsoir, bonsoir, Shimak. I also just remind you all too that we do have the virtual um coven here. I don't know if I have the link for that. Yeah, the virtual coven here on YouTube, which is available. You can either join the virtual coven or the podcast level, which gives you the podcast, the live podcast, and the virtual coven. I still have to send out emails for the bonus class, and the baby doll class things should be going out soon enough. Um, so yeah, there's a lot that's going on. But anyway, let's see. Um, so good evening, yes. So I am prepared to have these lights to be going crazy. Um, and it's not gonna shock me at all. So we have 70 people in the house. I need 70 thumbs up in the house, please. Thank you. And share this video. Like, you really wanna share this video because I'm giving you all Michael's gonna come and try to fix the lighting. Um, I don't think it's gonna work, to be honest. But, let's get into the conversation. So, the Reverend Willie Maxwell. Oh my gosh. Here we go. So, just move that in the center. Okay. Thank you. Perfect. Merci. The killer voodoo preacher, Reverend Willie Maxwell. Okay. Um, so I want to give a little bit of backstory on just setting up this whole thing. So first and foremost, I know a lot of people, I won't say a lot of people. I mean, I think a lot of people know that I'm telling the truth. I've been online for a very long time, and or I won't say a very long time, but long enough where the things that I've said is you should be able to find them. So I must just communicate first and foremost. Again, I am Queen Cotalia Benson Milo Mendoza de la Live. Okay, Benson. Benson or Benson to the Southerners um, was one of the most prominent Black Creole towns in before Alabama was a state and not too long after the US became the US, all right? Benson, Alabama was founded, um, by my mother's paternal side of the family, and they had ownership of this space from the 1800s until 1919, okay? I will do another video on that, and, hello, um, Rare Al, good evening. So, um Benson, Alabama, actually is comprised of Tallapoosa County, like the whole Tallapoosa County, but you also get Elmore, parts of Wetumpka, all the way past Dade, almost to Lee County. It was a large portion. I almost, posted a map of it, to be honest, but this is Googleable. My family is historically Googleable, to be honest, about it all. And so, Miss Bertha says, "I am a witness." And so, um, this story takes place in Tallapoosa County. Alright, Tallapoosa County. And the reason why I have to bring that up is because you hear people, again, they do their investigations and they hear things, they're like, "Oh, it's inclusive this and whatever." So 10, 15 minutes out of Tallapoosa is Coosa County, essentially. Um, but this is still essentially a part of Benson, at that not at this time, but still in this region. So, when I tell you this story is not something that, again, I investigated. These are stories that we grew up on, and not that we grew up with the stories, but it was very clear in our family because though people loved and adored May 31st, Mr. Reverend Willie Maxwell. As you see, he is quite attractive, very tall, and I will tell you, to be honest, all the Maxwells in Alex City are quite attractive. I think they're all quite tall as well. Um, and he was born on May 31st, and these stories came about and these happenings came about over, um, within, like, the '60s, '70s, okay? Now, over the course of 7 years, he killed 7 individuals. However, these 7 murders were never once, proven. He was never convicted, he was often questioned, and people assumed that, but no one actually really knew, but people knew. So, what you find here is I'm just honestly giving this to you again, how I grew up knowing this, and through these 7 years, every wife he ever had no longer has or had breath in their body, not a one. Um, and people go, "Well, why were these things happening? What was going on? Was it voodoo sacrifices? What's happening here?" No, it's called money. Greed and money. Listen, the spirits are gonna confirm. The spirits are gonna confirm. My ears are ringing right now, in fact. And so greed and money is where, um, this came from, insurance money. And so, in fact, what you find is, um, there's another family called the Radneys. The Radneys, Tom Radney Sr., to be in fact. And so and again, you guys, look, I can hold my hands up the whole time. I can talk like this. So you have Willie Maxwell, number 1, and then Tom Radney, number 2, the Radneys. And the reason I have to bring this up is because there are families involved. Also, you find that it's fine, it's fine. And so what you find is there are the Radneys, the Maxwells. You also will Harper Lee, I forgot. So key point, alright? Um, yes, so but the story that you heard are stories. I'm giving you facts, facts. Um, Harper Lee began to write a book called The Reverend after this event, but I'm gonna get to her later. So, Reverend Willie Maxwell killed over 7 years, 7 individuals in my city, hometown, okay? But people say, "Well, Queen, what is your connection?" My connection is my great-aunt, his worker, Willie Maxwell, Reverend Willie Maxwell was protected by the powers of hoodoo and obeah and Greek. He did not do voodoo, but because people don't know and didn't know the difference, they assumed that it was voodoo. Now, I always tell people, is this the one? What's this one? So here's newspaper clippings here where you'll be able to see, um, that they speak of, for example, you'll see the Seven Sisters of Algiers of New Orleans. Remember that, the Seven Sisters of Algiers, New Orleans. See, people, also Imma put that back up 'cause I have no issue, show me all the receipts. I always tell y'all, I come with receipts. I am who I am. I am truly who I am. I have nothing to hide. And that's a problem for a lot of people because they don't have the receipts, but you don't have to have the receipts. You don't have to have the receipts to be powerful, but, or any of those things, but the Seven Sisters of Algiers, a lot of people are, "Oh, the 7 sisters. Oh, it was a myth. It was just one sister, da 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 da." Y'all just remember that. Remember that. My family has been connected to my mother's family has part comes from Lafayette, Louisiana, okay? So, it's our connections for centuries run deep. In the 1800s, they ran deep from Louisiana all the way up to Massachusetts, all the way, regardless depending on which side of my mother's specifically my mother's lineage and those things, okay? So, um, I know about the 7 sisters, woo. Well, you just wait. You just wait. So, so he killed these people over the course of, 7 years, okay? And he did the murders and all of these things. You'll see right here in that top, um, left corner, you will see a photo of Harper Lee, Rev.Willie Maxwell, and, um, Tom Ratney. This man in the middle is very important. Very, very, very important man, okay? Um, so this man here is why Harper Lee ends up coming to Alex City. So what you find is, he was killing these individuals specifically for money. Um, and it wasn't just he was getting money, but and this is why, and people ask, "Why hasn't the Reverend come out? Why hasn't he come out?" Well, that's because the Radneys in town, they own the funeral homes, the insurance companies, their lawyers, paid, paid, paid. And, Rev.Willie Maxwell paid. And then you say, "Well, Queen, what does your aunt have to" She was his worker. She was his spiritual worker and mistress. She was the only out of the whole 7 years that never experienced any hardships, any issues, any problem. And in fact, she began to just get more beautiful and beautiful with each and every death and seemingly more powerful, but nobody really understood why and how these things were happening and what was the connection of Rachel Ophelia and Eve. People didn't know. But what people don't know is that my aunt Rachel, my great aunt, who is still living today in her 90s, take every enemy of Willie Maxwell and utilize the method of Obeah of placing every enemy into another spirit or into another body. So she would place them in a goat, place them in a chicken, place them in a snake, place them in a toad, and she would do this to each of his enemies. So people weren't understanding why. It was like, how is it that we know he's doing something, but he won't die, he can't be killed, not being indicted. What's going on? What's happening? This doesn't make sense, okay? This doesn't make sense. And so they realized, okay, there's something going on, but they really did not know. They really didn't know until when they know. You will see over here to the right-hand side, they had found jars that had blood in the jars, and they had love on them and hate on them and friendship, and a variety of jars that my great aunt made. So when they went to his house after his murder, Yeah, his murder. After they went to his house, for this murder, they found all of these things. And this guy up here in the left corner, remember, he's a very important factor here. Now, every person that Willie Maxwell killed, everyone, he would go to their wakes and to their funerals. He and my aunt never missed a wake or a funeral. Not one. Not 1, not 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and definitely the last one, 7. Because as we well know, traditionally, the way we buy or take a spirit is we go to the funeral. You give a little and you take a lot, is how we do it. So, they never missed a wake and they never missed a funeral. And this is something that was very, very, important to know. I also people tell these stories and talk about, like, the Russell Textile Company. The Russell Textile Company, which you can also, Google, Russell Textile Company actually was not a thing until stole after they actually poisoned my ancestor, Willie E. Benson, and stole the, the, is it the blueprints? But, the business plan blueprints to my family's business, the most successful business here in the Southeast in the 1800s, early 1900s, the Dixie's Textile Company, which preserved the spaces of, um, t turpentine mills and colleges and a variety of things. We're the first people of color, Creole people of color, to bring a railroad, um, through the Southeast. That is historical facts, which is also Googleable. I should have pulled up that build as well. And it's Dixie for the space of dix, like, un, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10. That was the French currency here in the Southeast for a particular point in time, but that's where the name came from, the DC Textile Company. Um, and I also just wanna mention too, because you do have, again, this point of the Radneys. So the Radneys were getting their cut. Um, he was getting his cut. My Aunt Rachel, she loves money. She loves money more than she loves anything. Point blank period. Even to this day, money is her life source, okay? And so everybody was getting their cut when it came down to these murders. Now, the murders of all murders is, well, I don't know if it's in this clip here, but we'll see. Um, but the murders of all murders was Willie Maxwell actually killed, a little girl, his um, by crushing her under a car. Her uncle her uncle knew, um, that it was Willie Maxwell, okay? Her uncle knew that it was Willie Maxwell, and, this was Robert Burns, okay? Was his name. I wanted to make sure I pulled it up correctly. And, his uncle was adamant that it was Willie. He was adamant, he knew that was Willie. There was no other way, and he was gonna prove it. He knew that he killed, his niece. Point blank period. He knew it. He knew it, okay? And, Willie killed, um, Robert's niece, okay? Because again, his wife, children, insurance money, life policies, and so forth and so on. So, again, my great aunt and Willie never missed a wake or a funeral. But in time of him killing this girl, Willie Maxwell wanted to live forever. And there were ways, and there are ways that we know in the traditions of hoodoo how to extend life, how to bring life, how to take life, how to alter and manipulate life's source. And there was a very particular thing that he wanted my great aunt to do, and she would not do it. And at this time, he pursued who he knew would be the next in line of our family, and that was my mother. Pursued her so that she could do the work because she would be carrying the next queen or king of our lineage, the next leader, worker, whoever would hold the crown for our lineage. So he pursued my mother into doing the work. But my mother, by this point, she had already cursed somebody in public, and so she pulled back from doing any work because my mother has the gift of tongue, and she don't need no candle, no oil, no root, or nothing to tell you what to do, and you will do it. She told a pastor at the time what he could do, and 2 hours later, he did exactly what she said. Um, and so she had already withdrew from society because it was that public and Willie was a part of that. He saw her do this, and so he already knew her power. He knew her strength and who would be coming, me, but it wasn't until 16 years later. So, my mother knew that he was dealing with my great aunt, and she told first of all, my mother was terrified, and she, told my great aunt, and my great aunt became highly upset, and most of all, a witch that is heartbroken is a witch with a vengeance. So, they went to the last week of this little girl that he killed, and my great aunt had taken Robert Burns, took him and placed him in a particular animal and tied him to a particular tree on my family's property. In the wait, she stood up and crossed Willie Maxwell, placed her hand on his left shoulder, and said, "Your ticket has been punched." And he looked at her like, "What do you mean?" And she says, "I know. Your ticket has been punched." And she leaves out of the wait, goes to my family's property and cut the rope of the body of Robert Burns. And in this article, you should be able to find this article in the Alex City Outlook, okay? Alexander City Outlook, because just so after Benson was flooded, it became our town, and, 10 minutes away, it became Alexander City, okay? In the Alexander City Outlook, pardon, you should be able to find this article, but you will read this place where, Robot said, "I felt something snap in me, something released me, something I was free." And in that moment of his freedom, Robert stood up, turned around, looked at Willie Maxwell, and shot in the face. Shot him in the face. One moment, please. I'm calling my mom. One moment, please. I'm calling my mom. Bonjour, mama. How are you? I'm good. So, listen, I'm about to put you on speakerphone. Please don't say nothing crazy. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, anyways, so I just finished telling the people. I'm putting you on speakerphone now. Okay. So, everybody, the mother of Hoodoo is here. Um, mom. Yeah. Okay. So I just told. First of all, can you all hear my mom? Mom, could you say hello to everybody? Hello, everyone. Y'all hear mom? I'm gonna see if they can hear you, because if so, then we'll continue on real quick. If y'all can hear her, please give us a thumbs up and or just let me know in the comments that you can hear my mother. All right, they said they can hear you. Okay. Okay. So, Mama Bear. Now, yes. Willie Maxwell had just got shot, okay, in the wake of the girl that he killed, okay? Yes. At that moment, well, first and foremost, let's tell the people who was his mistress during the whole time of the murders that were going on? Your auntie. My auntie, her aunt, my second aunt, my great aunt. Okay. Now, right. What does Aunt Rachel love more than anything? Money. You see this? I told him that. I was like, even to this day, that's probably she loved that probably more than anything. Now, after Willie Maxwell was shot, because I know I was gonna tell people about how it rained and what they said happened, but I forgot to tell them. Mom, did Willie Maxwell pursue you to date you? Yes. And how was that? What did you think about that? It scared the living hell out of me. And and when he was shot, what happened in Alex City that was so unexplainable? The sky was black dog, and it rained, and it hailed, and the wind blew, doors open that was locked and chained. It was horrible. Completely black dark. Now, Mom, I heard that it just wasn't black dark, but it seemed like it rained black. Would that be true? Yeah. Okay. Yes, Mama. I was about to say because Mom was on the inside, Mom didn't go outside after the sky took black. Mom run in trying to stay behind them chain locked doors that was steady flying open. Grandma, Mama, Grandmama. I'm sorry. Who did you say that was? Who went back inside? I ran back inside. Oh, okay, gotcha. And Mom, do we or do we not have a very long relationship with the Radneys? We do. And haven't you personally helped the Radneys out? I have. Some secrets that we can't say online. Right. So, but anyways, and also too, Mom, I do, I have you since I have you on the phone here. Um, did you or did you not tell a particular preacher to go wrap his car around a pole, and he literally did it 2 hours later? Okay. Would be absolutely not. As to lastly, Mom, aren't we Bensons from the Benson, Alabama clan? We are. Okay, because, some people don't believe it, and I try to make sure that I have on my receipts. But Mama Bear, I love you dearly. I'm gonna continue on, with these shenanigans, and, I'll call you in the morning. Is that okay? It's fine. Alright. Love you, Mama Bear. Love you more. Bye-bye. Have a good night. Um, and so Literally, literally, it rained black. In Alex City, there were the Russell Mills, and they have these doors that were locked and chained. They blew open, like, these were metal doors. There was no way they could they blew open, it rained black, it was hailing, all of those things. And after that happened, um, they went down to Willie's house, and they found, again, the jars and all of those things, and, um, and and this is what okay, well, he did voodoo, and it's like, "No, he didn't do voodoo." Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, I gotta call my mom back, I'm sorry. I forgot this part. Hi, mom, I forgot a part. I'm putting you on speaker again, okay? Alright. So, mama bear, okay, I forgot to tell the people this. Did you or did you not meet the 7 sisters? In so many ways I did, but, they I don't think they were what they was all cracked up to be. So, my mom's saying, like, she's calling their bluff, like, they are not all what they cracked up to be. That was you and Aunt Bunny, yes, my Aunt Doris. Oh my goodness, that is insane that I bring her up today. That is insane, so make sure we light a candle for her, without a doubt. Um, and so but yeah, I was like, I forgot to mention the 7 Sisters of Algiers because, like, my mom was like, "They were not what they all cracked to be." I'm telling y'all, y'all get such into New Orleans and to Louisiana, and it's like, this Bama stuff. Ooh, mama, one more time though. What happened to the lady at the church who, was it was it our aunt who swept the lady into the street? Who was at that swept? It was, a lady that well, she lived in our community, and her husband was gone with her best friend, and when she found out, the lady had cancer, but it was in remission, she was doing fine, she was working, and she went to the house and drank on a Friday, and Tuesday she couldn't open the house. Bloop. This is about a couple of weeks later, she died, and while they were going to the funeral, a lady come outside and swept her up towards that grave church church. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how we get down in A-Town. Okay, Mama Bear, I love you dearly. I'll call you in the morning, that's all. Okay, bye-bye, love you. So, yes, so, like, there are so many I'm really trying to get my mother to come and give a class, um, or at least to just give y'all some stories or some in-person things that I didn't live. But this is what I'm telling people, like, I am not making this up. I'm not just, um, just fabricating these things, like, we lived these stories that people are telling. My mother was pursued by Willie Maxwell. Um, she literally my great aunt was who he was with the whole time, you know, and so, oh my gosh, I'm ready for that, really hoping she comes to the Conjure Fit. I'm trying, she's a difficult being, this this mother of mine, but yes, and so, after the murder and everything, Harper Lee who wrote To Kill a Mockingbird, got word of it, and she came to start doing her investigations, okay? She came to, I'm loving this true story time. What made you decide to share? Just because, I mean, I normally come on in the mornings, but because it's late night, I'm like, "It's late night, let's spooky with it," right? So, why not? And there's more stories. There's stories like my mom just told about the lady who got swept away and went to the lady house on Friday, could not open her mouth on Tuesday. I see you on Friday, you will not open your mouth on Tuesday, okay? And so, bonsoir. And also too, I've been seeing a lot of people tell this story, and I'm like, "Nope, it was not Coosa County, it was Tallapoosa County, number 1." Um, and I see people, like, telling all of these details, it's like, "Girl, you were not there, and you are repeating information or you're fluffing the story kind of deal." And it's like, "Mm-mm." Um, join the club and you'll be privy to some other stories, yes, because I do call my mom often. Um, I need to call my great aunt, the one who does the work did the work for him. Um, so there's that. But yes, so it's I hear there's so many things, um, so many stories that I have that my family has lived again because we own this space from the 1800s to 1919, and we've been living in the same space for over 300 years, literally. And so I have that information. I have connections to that information. So you gotta think, if my great aunt right now was working on 100 years old, just about, she also has 100 years of stories that she knows prior to her, right? And, um, um, I'm hoping I can, be there too. I would love to sit at her feet and listen to stories, and I literally make sure that happens. Like, if I can get elders, like I just had, my mama call that was here 91 years young, sit down and give us some 91 years of wisdom. Oh my god. Yes. So I mean, it's all of those things, but anyways, let me keep up with the story. Okay. So the storm came, the moon came out. Where's what name? Um, so, she when they went to, was the Seven Sisters located in Dothan? No. The Seven Sisters of Algiers, my mom said, I don't feel so they all cracked up to me, and my mom met them. My grandma knew their mothers who were the Seven Sisters of their generation, and the last one of them had moved to Augusta, Georgia, and died, and these were their daughters, and my mom was like, "Mm-mm, they are not what they all cracked up to be. This is not." Because you can't come from the countryside of Alabama where you go to somebody's house on a Friday and then open them up on a Tuesday and go speak to 7 sisters who they're not coming with it. They're not. They didn't. They did not. And so, there's that, and that's why I tell people, like, so, like, people go crazy about, "Oh, Marie Laveau, Marie Laveau." Uh-uh. I grew up on Nancy Delaunay. I grew up on Dolly Delaney. I grew up on Susie Mona Mezzo's Delaney. I grew up on my people hearing their stories. That's who I grew up on. And so, it's like, when you have stories like this, yes, you hear about Marie Laveau and how she stood outside and these people were free or their court sentence was shortened or whatever else. Getting back to the story, okay? Um, they really do, but the reason why not just Louisiana, specifically New Orleans gets so much credit because it is a port, it's a large port city, and so news spread fast. All the things you see in New Orleans and here in New Orleans, I guarantee happened in Mobile 100 years probably before, to be honest, but it's a smaller city, so things don't spread as much. Mobile had a town, an Africa town of Africans, not just this mixing pot. okay? I mean, it was still a mixing pot from different tribes, but it was pure, you know? And so, but again, like, New Orleans literally is a replica of old Mobile, to be honest, for Mardi Gras, all that jazz, all that. But anyways, once they went to, Willie's house and they found the jars and all of those things, Harper Lee, she came down again, Harper Lee, who wrote To Kill a Mockingbird, and you can again Google this, who wrote To Kill a Mockingbird, comes down and starts investigating. And so she's gonna create this book called The Reverend. But people go, "Well, why hasn't The Reverend been released?" That is because gotta go back to the Radney. The Radneys are holding some information. I don't know if they're manuscripts or some copies of some things. I can't remember exactly what they're holding, but they are holding things that also have not gave the green light to the book to be published. Why? Because in Alexander City, you have Radney Elementary School, Radney Funeral Home, you have the city lawyer who's a Radney, city secretary who's a Radney, um, and if by chance, and Harper Lee also mentioned this too, if she released the book, it would, jeopardize the family's name, and the family is again, they're the upstanding Radneys, but as you heard, my mom said, "We've been working for them for a long time, and we got secrets we cannot mention." I've actually taught a couple of generations of Radneys from ages 2 to 18. Yes, like, seriously. Um And I mean, I even have their numbers in my phone. But, um, the thing about it is, so whenever they, went to start doing this investigation, all this, Harper Lee decided not to well, she wanted to put it out, but she wasn't getting the green light from them, and they're still holding information. But when she was here, she went to my great aunt, and she asked about the situation. And you know what my great aunt told her? She "Had he listened to me, even if he was shot at, the bullet would bend or the air would bend for him." She said, "He would not die. He could not die." Even and that is a quote in the newspaper. I need to find that article, to post it, and I will if I can, if I remember, I'm so busy, y'all know me. But she literally said, "Even had he been shot, he would not have died. Had he listened to me, had he stayed with me, he would not have died," because it's that kind of hoodoo that we come from. It's that kind of hoodoo, that branch of Obeah, that depth of Grigri, and that is in the newspaper article, and that is not a lie, that was a quote from him. And so I and that really speaks volumes, and, I feel like calling my mom again. My aunt also took out somebody else. But anyways, but yeah, so that is a true firsthand your ears from the person who lived it. My mom lived, so she ran back inside because it was raining black and hailing and all of it. Everybody in Alex City experienced it. It wasn't like a one person thing. It was everybody experienced it, like the winds, all of those things. Can't be a part of this. Oh, how could I forget? And I don't know why I just keep forgetting these things. So, when I tell people again, you gotta be careful who a person know, who they know. Better yet, the spirits they know. Now remember, the same way the same way I tell people, don't be virtually, social medially, or virtually, I guess be virtual, professionally, politically, uh, brave, Be spiritually, culturally intelligent and smart. This man is buried 10 minutes from my parents' house. You don't think we got work still to do? This man loves money. He don't mind taking nobody out for it. He just want what he want. You just gotta give him what he needs. But you gotta have that kind of relationship with the Reverend Willie Maxwell. And a lot of people don't. But you can't be a lover and not have some feelings. And you can't want power from a particular lineage and not have business that could be done. I can pay you in life, but I can also pay you in death. So always keep this in mind. You know, I tell people that this is we're not cut from the same cloth. We did not grow up hoping and wanting to connect. And I'm not talking badly about those that want to, but this is all we've ever known. Was our purpose in the space that my mother's family owned. Her paternal side owned the space, and the maternal side, spiritual. Both both sides of my mother's maternal side. And that, um, that is something that people don't understand. People don't understand, and people don't get it. No, I'm not out here talking about a man at the crossroads. We know Willie Max. My sister went to school with his children. I could call her right now, and she'll be afraid to talk about him. She'll be afraid to talk about him because it was that I mean, because the reality is he was a murderer. I mean, that is scary in itself. The magic was us, but the fact that he just a outright murderer, mm, and and the thing about it is this, just something to think about. Seeing Willie's connection was clear. It was money, insurance, the funeral homes, the lawyers, everybody, all connected. How many spiritual workers out there doing the exact same work my great aunt is doing and not acknowledged as murderers? How can you prove it? What does that look like in fact? Oh, you believe in voodoo now. Oh, magic's real? Hmm, interesting, I'd say. So, that being said, everybody, um, I do wanna bring up I'll answer some questions to her in a little bit. I do just wanna remind everybody that we do have the September community service available now that will be, um, ending tomorrow. As soon as I wake up tomorrow, I'm ending it. So that's probably at 5 AM. So I would encourage you all to get the community service as soon as possible. I may be generous and wait until 8 AM, I mean, 8 PM just because give people a full day, but it will be, out of stock tomorrow. That is available now. Um, again, I'm not gonna push it down your throat, but I know the importance of this. Learning how to work with truly, sweetness truly, this would be a good opportunity for that. But again, that is on you. That is available now. That link should be in the description box. It should be in the description box. Let me take a peek because I can't remember. Yes, it is in the description box. Alright, we have 76 thumbs up. I appreciate it. Let me jump over here to see if there's any questions. If anybody wanna come live with me perhaps. Do you believe right or wrong magic? There is no right or wrong magic. If a tornado comes through and tear down the town, is that a wrong thing or a natural thing? Hoodoo, there are no ethics. So the only way to right a wrong is to right that wrong. There is no karma or no karmic situations. And a lot of people have an issue with that culturally. There isn't, but also naturally. If a hurricane comes and knock down a tree doesn't get back up and knock down a hurricane because that's not how nature works. Culturally, there are some people that believe there's a karmic situation, but no, I don't really understand um, how people don't believe what, my dear? Hold on 1 second, I'm skipping around. I know firsthand what if I know firsthand what it looks and it hurts. What it looks like and it hurts. Do you think magical practitioners should be ethical or follow a code of conduct? No, suffer gold and Leviticus, I guess, maybe? Um, Leviticus, I don't know. Um, if you follow a religious path, there is a code of conduct for you to follow, then that's the code of follow of a code of that is the code of conduct that you should follow if you follow a path that has that. But again, you are working in a magical system like hoodoo, obeah, gree-gree, wanga, guinea-guinea, kimbwa, etcetera, so forth and so on. That's not culturally a thing, number 1, but also naturally, what is the code of conduct? The restoration of balance or the restoration of harmony, and that sometimes have to be destructive. Sometimes the forest has to be burned down. It seems like a disaster, but it needs to be done in order to thrive. Can you get your great aunt could your great aunt call upon Willie Maxwell now and do her bidding since they work together? Yes. Well, the thing about it is, the real question is, did my great aunt take his spirit? That's the real question. Did she take his spirit already? She may not have had to call upon him. That's why we go to the funerals. That's why we go to the weddings, to take the spirits. That's exactly what we do. Or do we? Or are we just paying our respect? Huh, I don't know. Um, merci pour the history. Thank you for the story. It highlights the power of spiritual bloodlines. It truly does, but people again, people have an issue when you do start bringing up spiritual bloodlines. "Oh, you're being elitist." No, fact. I cannot deny it. I can't just, like, be like, "Oh, no, it didn't happen. No, I'm not Queen Cotalia. No, we're not spiritual royalty. Queen Sega, um, Savoy, no, she's not real." No, these are historical facts and things, and so there's weight there, yes, but it does not mean that everyone has to be from a line like that. Some of you are the first of your line that may be that way 100 years from now, but you are the start, and that's a beautiful thing. There's nothing wrong with that. Some folks just shouldn't be messed with, but some folks gonna find out. Haitian goddess. I love it. And she was about to lose her home because, and she was about to lose I was speaking to a customer who didn't wanna wish bad hold on. Whoa! Hold up, slow up. Okay. I was speaking to a customer who didn't wanna wish bad on a man who had stolen her money, left her for another woman. I had made her wish for him, what he deserves, karma my ass. And she was about to lose her home because he had spent her money, um, had spent the money she gave him to pay the mortgage. Um, for your great aunt to know this man was a murderer, wasn't afraid to deal with him. She was oh, no, it's not just my great aunt. First and foremost, baby, if I'm keeping you alive, you don't think I can keep myself alive? You know what, baby? How about this? How about I tie myself to you, so if you kill me, you kill you? How about understand that if you kill me, your protector, you have no protection, my love. So you should probably put a good insurance policy around me. You should probably make sure I am well taken care of because and with a nice, sturdy, solid premium, in fact. Um, the Parkers, Milner Parkers of my family have been known Meadows, Milner Parkers Meadows, they are known to die when they shoot. When they're done, and they literally die. My great-grandma died twice, um, October 17th and then again on, November 4th. She told my mom she was going to, and she did, and then she came back and then died again. Um, and so it's so there are those people and lineages that you absolutely be like, "Death? Okay." That's why I tell people, like, you don't necessarily wanna always kill people. You don't wanna always wanna unalive people, you know, um, unbreath them, whatever you wanna call it, but it's not necessary. It's not necessary. It's okay to gatekeep and understand this has levels. And the thing about it is to me, it's not gatekeeping, it's just truth and culture. The truth is you can't do this, and you don't have the ability to do that. It's fine. You're not a bird, you cannot fly. That doesn't mean that you're not a fish and you can't swim, it just means you're not a bird and you can't fly. A fish has its purpose, a bird has its purpose, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that, but that's the thing. My thing about gatekeeping is this: people try to gatekeep who don't got a key to or a gate to be keeping, okay? Like, it's like, you did not grow up in this space, but you're trying to tell someone this is closed. You don't even know truly what this is. For you to try to go, "This is it?" Because the things that you're keeping precious to you, the majority of the information that you have, that you're trying to gatekeep is actually appropriated information, miseducation, and exploitation. So, in fact, you keep that because it's gonna do nothing for you. It truly isn't. There's no reason for them to die, if they can suffer while they're alive. This is true, absolutely true, and it's also not as fun, to be honest. I mean, you put me through hell and I just let you get off? But again, like, for example, like with Willie Maxwell, it was not about that. He needed the money. It was about unaliving these people. It was about definitely, "You gotta go. You gotta go, you gotta go, you gotta go." But when it comes to this spiritual community, people think, "Oh, I'm gonna do it. That's foul. That's foul." Why? What for? I'm not wasting my ashe on that. No. Mm-mm. Absolutely not. No comparison, but what you just shared made me think of my dad. He died 3 times, and the last time when he stated he was ready to pass, of course, that was the final crossover. Yeah, it be like that. Because they have made it a trend, Exactamo hair by Tiger. Is it Tiger or Tigger? But yes, you are correct. The traditional of it all. I can't wait to do this podcast episode about spiritual maturity and development versus personal development, because I'm looking at people creating these hoodoo courses and books and guides and all of these things, and it's like, "Baby, none of this" tiger like the animal, "None of this is hoodoo. This is self-care." And self-care is fine, but you don't gotta say, "Hold on, yes, I had a very difficult time, and I just need to go back and relax." That's not hoodoo. That is personal self-care. It's an important thing, but you don't have to say hoodoo on it to sell it. Be a life coach. Um, for real, royalty is also about having to go through the fire. A lot of people wouldn't even want to go through what it a lot of people don't wanna go through what it takes generations, to edify these processes safely or whatever. Well, and the thing about true royalty, again, is this, there's a couple of things. One, it is the, aspect of the European ideology of royalty. There is that, um, space in the African diaspora, but then there is spiritual royalty, which is different and looks incredibly different. And then in my family, especially, or in fact, is indigenous royalty, which also looks different because it's not based off of Eurocentric ideology. It doesn't look the same. And so, like, for example, when you're dealing with, like, European ideas of royalty, kings and queens, and even African kings and queens, rulers all over the world are only that way because they took it. They took it, they stole it, they fought for it, and they demanded, point blank period. Spiritual royalty is different because, 1, you have to be born into that lineage, and there are responsibilities that are given. There are things that a couple of years ago, I literally thought I was dying. I thought y'all didn't know it, but I thought that I was dying. I spent thousands of dollars at the doctor, getting all kinds of things, um, and I thought I knew what it was. It was the same year that I, transitioned into or ascended to, the queen of my lineage. And I go to my great aunt, that was the couch, by the way. I'm just y'all know you hear sounds, whatevers. But, I went to my great aunt and she was like, "Baby, your grandmother gave you something in the 4th grade so you could not have a sniffle, a watery eye, a upset stomach, a diarrhea, none of that for the whole first part of your life. You don't know what it feels like. You don't know what it seems like to be ill. And in order for you to be the healer, you gotta heal, and this is your time." And it was in that moment that I had to literally, um, understand that role, but it was rough because I had never experienced anything like that before. Then they talk to you all kinds of crazy like they're authorities. Yes, especially those Atlanta people. Oh my goodness, y'all finna leave Atlanta alone. Some are claiming Voodoo and Hoodoo queens at 9. So that's the thing and so a lot of people, again, they hear my story and they hear other s authoritative figures' stories. I was not. I was acknowledged at the age of 8. I was groomed from 8. It was already clear, it was divine, it was seen, I had shown all the 7 wonders, okay, at the age of 8, okay? But then from 8 for 2 decades, I literally was just being groomed. All the responsibilities, all the responsibilities, hard responsibilities, hard facts and things. Um, but it wasn't until my grandma transitioned that I became the queen. And I really wasn't supposed to become queen for another at this point, another, what, 5 years, but it was pre-done due to her, transitioning. So, Queen Nancy, not just Nancy, Queen Nancy, she was the medicine holder for her people. So she dealt with all the particular medicines that the indigenous needed. I don't know exactly all of her specialties. Um, I would have to ask Jay Hazel. Um, it's the tough, big bad ones that always get the story. So Queen Dolly is the one that catches all the hype. Um, but I wanna say that Queen Nancy was definitely more of your healer. Um, she was she manipulated weather. That is something that was definitely passed down to Dolly. Able to conjure storms without a doubt. I would need to ask G Hazel, which is a family cousin who has those stories, and then I could maybe bring back, why did these women marry him knowing his history with women? They did not have a choice, my dear. My aunt needed money. He needed money, the Ratney needed money. My aunt, venez-moi, come to me, ma chere. Venez-moi maintenant, ma chérie. I'm gonna let you get all close to Willie. Imma let you fill up on it, okay? You gonna fill up on it. Ma chérie, venez-moi. Come on, come to me. You don't have a choice. Compelling, that is a gift of ours. You gonna do what we say. You gonna do what we say. It's okay, ATL Rum Shaker. Don't break up. Yup, it's really like that. Rough moments and responsibilities that come with the elevation and the station. Love this song. Yeah. So, yes. Oh, did I? Oh, Candy's new member. Bonjour, bonjour, new member. Yeah, that's the thing about like, people don't when I know that this sounds off the wall. I know that this can't be real. Oh, no, this ain't real. This sounds like movie Hollywood stuff. No, my mother just told you. My mother literally just told you. She told the man what to do. He wrapped his car around the pole 2 hours later. That simple. It wasn't a big I went to the crossroads. I took a South African goat under a strawberry blood new moon with my water and my tranquil spirit. No, like, that wasn't no. You gonna take this card and everything you love and go wrap it around a pole. Now you have a good day. 2 hours later. I'm glad I caught this card. Hollywood does imitate real life. You're exactly correct. Oh, yes, you gotta have a whole South it ain't voodoo if you ain't got a whole South African goat that can walk backwards on water, give sight to the blind, and raise the dead. This will be off subject about, but anything about Aunt Julia Brown. So I know that I've heard of that name. I would have to ask my great aunt again because I grew up on my people. I didn't grow up on anybody else. I didn't focus on anybody else. I wasn't worried about nobody else, like the Marie Laveau or Julie Brown and Aunt Caroline Guy and other workers that people know, but again, it's like, you have to think like, "Well, why are these people known and why aren't people known?" Well, you gotta understand, if people aren't known, it's probably because they don't want to be known. You look at the king of Voodoo on social media, he got like a 500 followers. The whole king, the first line to the Loa. We're not out here like that. Everyone can't receive it, and everyone don't need to see it to be either, to be honest. Um, as a person walks in Hollywood, a lot of our stories are based on events. It just seems far-fetched for the public. Exactly, exactly. Larvine here does work in Hollywood. She, and so she would absolutely know. Yes, indeed. Queen, are you able to read me and know my hoodoo path is? We're not doing emergency readings tonight, but I also will just tell you, hoodoo is a method and an ability that you can operate within. Um, so it's a matter of if you are a conjurer, do you have the ability to conjure? But most and foremost, I always tell people, any person of color here in the US, if you are an African American to any capacity in the US, it is imperative that you know your history, educate yourself. You do not have to be a worker. You can be a practitioner and use hoodoo products, but you need to educate yourself without a doubt because it's real and real things are happening. Why is there a lot why is there always a goat when folks think about doing magic? Where do these goats where do we get these goats? South Africa, I told you, I'm kidding. No, so goats play a very strong part for a variety of reasons. Goats are one in European cultures and sometimes, in African spaces are familiars. Um, the goats absolutely some of the spirits do look like goats or look like other horned animals, and so goats is a representation of that. Also, spirits also move through that, as well. There are multiple reasons, and also too, like, for example, it's not just goats, but cows and hogs. All of these things have very clear, relations, like, beef, cows, that's abundance, that's money. That's your money spell. That's your opulence, cattle, okay? And that's why some of the African cultures have the cattle horns or head dresses and those kind of things. You have, um, hogs and pigs, 'cause they're always moving forward, they can't move back. They they move forward only, they will move through anything, and so it's those kind of things too. Some higher deities, um, higher or lower deities may require these holy animals, hogs, goats, pigs, toads, doves, pigeons, roosters, hens. Speaking of, I found a white hen in my mom's yard. You talking about hoodoo. I get home. I should have posted this video too. And I get home, and literally, y'all probably won't be able to see it, a whole white hen in the backyard. And why would we have white hens in the backyard? So we automatically know that the white, um, animal is a color for the ancestors, but in order to cleanse speaking of these home cleansings for, like, this community service that y'all sleeping on, but it's whatever, you're sleeping on it, it's gonna be on you. But, like, these home cleansings, we put hens in our backyards to scratch up any mess, 'cause this is the time. Scratch up your home stuff now. Next month, we gotta open those ropes, so we do it in the front yard. Any illness, any issues, any, hardships, any delays, any curses, any spirits, bad intentions, bad afflictions, those things will be removed in this community service. but also by putting hands in your backyard will clean up whatever is there, and then pop them out in the front yard, open those roads. So, Queen, can we expect more of these late night stories? It's really a vibe, maybe once a month situation at least. Maybe I'll do that for the virtual coven. I could do that for the virtual coven without a doubt. Um, I'm not a night person, so I struggle. I just got back on the road, to be honest. Yesterday, we celebrated my mother's, um, day of life. We had a time. Um, Yesterday was not her birthday. I think I told y'all that in the last video, like, there's multiple birthdays that we have, and no one really knows which one it is, and if it's even them. And so, just race your yard today. Yes, indeed, Gregory. Yes, yes. And so I may be able to do the virtual perhaps, um, and all kinds of things. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Wow, girl, what's going on? I don't know how this works. 'Cause this situation here. All right. Whew, bless it. Okay. Oh, let me move this out of the way because we know this camera will focus on everything else but me. Alrighty. Um, hold on one second. Y'all jumped in here real quick. At least over the month of October, these stories, that may be a thing. I'm aware of I'm aware that two women generations before me were practitioners. The previous generations turned Christianity and abandoned the practices. How do I pick up where they left off? Candy Davis, the thing about it is when you say practitioners, that doesn't really make a big difference to me because me growing up in this space, a practitioner was anybody who came to my grandmother and had work done. Just because a person is a practitioner does not make them a worker. Because I send you a candle and you burn it and put a hair in it, doesn't make you a practitioner. It doesn't make you a worker. It makes you a practitioner. So you being here are already a practitioner. Okay. If you are speaking to the space of working and you know that they conjured the spirits themselves and they were able to know those kind of things, then it's important for you to begin to educate yourself with understanding your first ability, which is where, again, I'm not trying to push this down your throat, but y'all act like y'all don't hear me. Y'all gonna be upset. How did I miss this? The working ritual weekend, November 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Understanding your power. You wanna know what you got the capability to do? You want to know this thing? Then you need to come to the, you want to absolutely come to the working ritual weekend without a doubt. Point blank, period. Because that's gonna tell you, "Oh, I feel this, and now that I'm doing stuff, I know this is what I need to be feeling, or this is what it feels like, and, oh, I do have this ability, or, oh, I don't have that ability." And that's where it begins, but you absolutely have to begin that space of education, and the thing about it is the method of voodoo. For example, you are born, okay? You are born with your magical ability, alright? That's one thing. That does not mean you're born with hoodoo. You're born magical. Hoodoo may be the method, maybe not. Maybe your people are from the islands and, Obia is what you need. Or maybe your people are from Guadeloupe and Kimboa is gonna be something you're gonna connect to. Or maybe your people are from Puerto Rico and it's Brujeria, whatever the situation may be. And so you first gotta understand what ability. Was that a boat? It sounded like a boat. So there's that. Um, you better make it that weekend because the October 5th It's a wrap. It's a rapioli. It's a rapioli, okay? Um, alright, so Mama LaBone says, "I have my own stories that many, um, in my own family think I made up, but I stepped outside of the box to dig deeper into where we were without fear, and it opened my eyes, um, to to what behind things that happen to people who are wrong in my life." Exactement, and honestly, Madame Lebeau, I mean, Mama Lebeau, pardon moi, je suis désolée, ma chérie. Mama Lebeau, yes, and your stories about it and there's something else too, there are a lot of people, like, when I took, some of my girls out on the foraging trails the other day, I told them, "Your experiences are truly your own." They'll be like, "Well, I feel this here, I see this here," and they sort of looked at me like, "What you feel, queen?" I'm listening because I cannot tell you that what you're seeing is not there now, or what you experienced is not there because a spirit may need to speak through you and not me, and that's a that's also a thing. It's not all spirits come to everybody, they don't. And every vision is shown to everybody, they don't. Because I may not be able to deliver or communicate that experience like the next person. There may be something that other person needs, that may be experiencing it. So, um, yeah. So, your experiences are very much valid. Um, definitely understand. That sounds really nice. Glad you had a good time. Yeah, or let people write their own stories and talk about it. I cannot wait to see y'all so excited about the Wicked Ritual weekend. Me too. Just purchased my my plane ticket. Looking forward to seeing everyone. I can't wait to see you too, Koala Queen. Um, I'm definitely working on coming to the retreat, but I hope that you're here. Gotta make it that weekend. What is the Working Ritual weekend? Um, I'm definitely thinking about going. So the Working Ritual weekend is a 3-day event here in Mobile at a state park where we will be doing a couple of things. The very first thing is our ancestor elevation ritual. This is a 3-day ritual from start until finish. You start it the day you get to the retreat, essentially. The Sunset Riverboat Cruise is where we're gonna be doing a reconciliation ritual and blessing ritual. In the space of connecting and understanding the source of water and the spirits of the water, but also understand that as we are on the water, on the riverboat cruise, we will be on the same river, in the same water, riding down the same path that the last known enslaved Africans that were brought to America were on. A high protection ritual. This is gonna be one of those big things that really shows you and sheds a light on who you are. It truly is. I don't wanna say too much on that, I'm very excited about that one. The smoke summoning, this is gonna be another great experience to show you how to summon what you want. You want a husband? Let's get into it. You want a baby? Let's get into it. You want some money? Let's get into it. You trying to move? Let's get into it. I'm not here to tell you what this is what we're gonna do today. I'm gonna say, "What do you want?" Now we're going to conjure it. You are going to conjure it. You are gonna bring it to you. What are you feeling? What are you experiencing? What does this feel like? What does this look like? Etcetera. And then the, fire feeding ritual, which is another very beautiful experience. So that's the working ritual. The info suffer goal ad lid vicious is in the description box. Okay. All right, my loves. Listen, everybody, it has been a pleasure. I hope that you all have enjoyed this. I hope that you all enjoyed my mother coming through, because again, I just think it's super important to have more of those moments where you all can hear and talk to and experience things where it's not, "Oh, well, Queen's just making this up, da 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 da." Um, I don't have to. I never have. I am exactly who I say I am. I, present to you exactly all the things I absolutely know, and the things I don't know, I don't talk about. So there's that. Thank you both for sharing. Yes. Everyone, y'all have a wonderful and blessed your evening. I will see you all very soon. Tomorrow, I'm not gonna be going live. I'm definitely gonna do a carpool for the sunrise reading, but when I say she's tired, oh, she's tired. Y'all have a blessed one. Thank you so much for joining. Remember, thumbs up, share the video. Share the video, please. Merci beaucoup et bonne soirée. Bonne nuit.